What is going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I wish I could say it was a beautiful day outside, but it's not. It's raining cats, dogs, and freaking hippos. However, while sitting around moping in my room, I figured something out. It's water change day. Now that got me thinking. Let's do a video about how I do all four of my freshwater tanks in less than an hour, do all the water changes, get them over with quick and easy because we all hate the water change, and who doesn't want a faster way to get through them? First, I'm going to tell you guys some tips that I use to keep my water changes going quick. Let's go to my basement. Alrighty, we are in the storage area of my basement. Please do not mind the lighting because all I have is a 60-watt bulb. But this brings us to tip number one. Tip number one is to mark off your faucets to the amount that you need to turn them for the temperature to be correct to match your tank. For those of you that don't know, you do not want to do water changes and put fresh water in the tank after that change that is colder, because that could spur ick and it puts stress on the fish, and it's not a good idea. So you see here that I just marked with a Sharpie on the prong that I turn down to turn the water on. This is the hot water, this is the cold water. Hot water, I just turn one. Cold water, I turn twice and then face it down. This goes through this hose, through that wall, and to my 60-gallon. Now that is a very important tip because it saves me a lot of time from trying to turn the valves to the correct temperature, fiddle with it, try to feel how warm the water is. It gets too hot or it's too cold, and I have to keep changing that, and I just get it wham wham perfect the first time. Saves me about 5 to 10 minutes each time. Super important. Tip number two, if at all possible, try to have your aquarium drain right from the aquarium into a drain, or especially like a ground drain is the best, like I have down here. So my tank drains through this, it used to be clear, but this brown tube, it got all brown from algae and stuff, but that tube goes right through that hole in the wall to my 60-gallon, which we will see in a second. Now, the importance of having a drain directly from the tank down into the ground or into the sewer or the sink or whatever you got is really simple. You don't have to do a bucket brigade. You don't have to get a bunch of 5-gallon buckets, lug them upstairs, downstairs, dump them outside. That saves a lot of time. And with a bigger tank, you can just leave it. You can set it there, hook it up to where you want the water level to drain from. Drain down to, say, if I want to do a 50% to 50% of the tank, and you're good to go. You leave it there, it sucks up all the water down to this level. It'll stop siphoning once it gets to that level, and you can come back to it and you're perfectly good. You can leave and do other stuff, which is essential to my water changing routine, and let's go check out why that is so important. I don't feel like climbing back up the stairs. Let's just do it the quick way. Wham! We are back upstairs in my room where 3 of my freshwater tanks are. 3 of the 4. Now these ones are the smaller tanks, and I kind of need to stay with them when I'm draining it, so I will show you how you can do that and make it super fast to do 3 tanks basically at the same time. Now, to drain these tanks as quickly as possible, we're going to need some supplies. It's really not that much. It's stuff you should probably already have on hand. I just have 2 5-gallon buckets, a gravel vacuum. I don't actually need the vacuum part because we will not be vacuuming the gravel, which I will talk to you about in a second. But the second piece is just going to be another piece of that nylon tubing that you use to drain out the stuff, so that I can do 2 tanks, these 2 tanks, at once, which saves a lot of time. Now, before you guys go thinking that I'm crazy and that, Joe, you really do need to vacuum your gravel, I'm going to tell you something. In all of my aquariums, I have sand as the substrate for this very reason. See, if you have enough flow in your aquarium, The sand will allow it, so all the detritus and the fish poop and all that gunky stuff that you do not want in your tank will sit on the top. And if you have enough flow in your aquarium, it will move all that through the water column, which will allow it to be sucked up by the filter that you have on your tank. Now, this is super important because that way you don't need to go through every square inch of the gravel and suck up all that bad stuff that falls in between. Now, with sand, you can get a little bit of a drawback, which is it has a good possibility of getting bad gas buildup underneath of it. And you can remedy this very simply. For one, you can just take your finger and move it around in the sand real quick every water change, and that'll take care of it. Or you can get bottom dwellers like I like to, which could be cory catfish, it could be clown loaches, or you could even get cichlids because they love to move sand around, and they will take care of that gas exchange and stop you from having any bad poisonous gas that builds up underneath the sand. Alright, I'm about to show you guys how I drain all 3 of my freshwater tanks in my room in a very short amount of time, but first I need to start the water change on my 60 gallon, which is downstairs, and I'll have that draining while I'm working on these. Okay guys, here's the system. Check it out. I actually have 2 of the blue gravel vacuum things. Depending upon your setup, you really probably don't need to. I accidentally cut this clear tubing down a little bit too far, so I needed to buy another one of these to attach it. But no biggie, I mean, it's $5. So this drains from my 60 gallon, it drains all the way down through there, through a hole in the wall, and to that in-floor drain by the sink that I showed you earlier. Then I fill the tank back up with this hose that I also put through that hole in the wall from that sink, and it's all smooth, seamless, it's really great. Step 1 when doing any water change is to turn off the electrical to your tank so you don't get electrocuted, because that would hurt. You get the gist. Now I just take my gravel vacuum, get out of the way of my mic cord here, lift up the canopy, stick it in the tank to about, I do a 50% water change. I do 50% every week, so I put it to about the 50% mark. That'll work right there, and just start the suction from down here. Now that that's draining, let's go upstairs and do the other tanks. Okay, now I need to take these tubes, put them into the tanks, drain the water down from the tanks into the 2 buckets, and after that I will get this 10 gallon. Okay, draining is done on these 2 tanks, and now I'm going to dump these 2 buckets out that window. A word of warning, if you live in the city, I would not suggest dumping water out your window because you might tick off a bunch of people down there. Bombs away! I put that stone down there to kind of break the water so it wouldn't destroy. Oh no! My phone almost just fell out my window. Alright, I'm gonna hold my phone this time. Bombs away! Well, that was effective. Alright, now all we have to do is this tank. So far we've spent a total of like 5 minutes, so that's not too bad. Now that the tanks are all drained, let's fill them back up. Oh yeah, this brings us to tip number... whatever. Get multiple buckets, people! This helps a ton because you can fill up multiple buckets at the same time with the same temperature, and you don't need to go back and readjust every single time. And that kind of builds on tip number 1. Alright, I just filled all these bedroom fish tanks back up with water. Now we can go downstairs, check on the basement 60-gallon tank, and we can fill that back up. Alright guys, we are back down in my basement, and it looks like my tank has finished draining. It's about, I don't know, 40%. So let's get our stuff so we can fill it back up. Time to fill the tank back up. Now you can add the water directly to the aquarium right from your hose or whatever you're using, as long as you dechlorinate it along the way with your conditioner. Just a few drops every few milliliters should do the trick. And we are good to go. Oh, I guess I should clean up. Alrighty guys, that is gonna wrap it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to drop a like below and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video. I have an announcement before I leave you guys for today. We just hit 30 subscribers, which is, you know, relatively wimpy if you ask me, but thank you all so much for subscribing if you are subscribed to my channel. Once we hit 100 subscribers, I am going to attempt something that will probably not work, but for the 100 subscribers special, I will try to build a fish tank out of cardboard. Cardboard, yeah, you heard me right, cardboard. This is not gonna go well, but if you want to see me build a fish tank out of cardboard, or try to, smash that subscribe button so we can get to 100. Thanks so much for watching guys. I'll see you later.